All right. Hi, my name is Lily Liu. I'm the president of the Solana Foundation. And today I want to talk about how Solana is building the original vision of programmable money. So everyone here has probably heard of Bitcoin. And in my mind, the blockchain world is moving towards a world where you've got Bitcoin, a store of value, and Solana is that platform to do all the other things that we originally thought of with blockchain, which is open finance, programmable money. So I want to talk about how Bitcoin and Solana are coming together. First, the original vision for blockchain is not digital gold. It actually says it on the top of the white paper. It says it's a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. And the reason why blockchain has been so impactful, starting when about 16 years ago, is it started off with a seemingly simple innovation, which is that you can have self-custody. If you have access to the internet, then with self-custody, you essentially have digital property rights. And if you have native smart contracts on top of that, this becomes quite powerful because now you can have programmable money, right? And with that, you can potentially build an open financial system, which we've actually seen scale to the hundreds of billions of dollars today. And many of us have used some of these platforms. And we've gotten, I would say, much more than a proof of concept, but in building an open financial system. And why this becomes even more significant in terms of society going forward is this is the basis for economic sovereignty in a digital world, and economic sovereignty is the basis for self-sovereignty. So what we have here is you start off with a seemingly small thing, self-custody, which really becomes one of the seedlings for self-sovereignty in an increasingly digital world. So the vision here for blockchain has always been where there's an internet connection, there is a bank account, right? Where there's an internet connection, anyone can have access to the financial internet. So what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin has chosen to be store of value. And back in the early days, there was a discussion as to whether blockchain is to be store of value, medium exchange, technology platform. Bitcoin has settled very successfully here. So then the question is, who's going to do the rest of this? And in my mind, Ethereum and afterwards, everyone is working on this vision of blockchain. And looking at some other narratives that have emerged from very early days is the idea that blockchain would be faster, cheaper, and constant, right? For payments, movement of money around the world, which is good. It's just not a 10x value proposition. And in my mind, if you look at the original internet, it was never just about digitizing the newspaper, although that also happened. It was always about enabling new markets. And on the information internet, this was about creating new markets around content creation and content consumption. And so similarly, with various kind of technological innovations after that, it's always about enabling existing supply and demand to find new markets and to reveal, organize, and monetize the long-tail markets. So what does that mean in the world of crypto? What are those 10x use cases? So in my mind, what that means in crypto, it's not just moving money faster, cheaper, and constant, although that's very good. That's certainly better than the banking system's kind of efficiency we have today, but it's really something I call PayFi. So DeFi, we probably all used or are aware of at this point. It's where you're putting one in one token, you're getting another token out. It's trading, right? Largely speculative in use. And PayFi is really about the transactional economy, where you send in money in consideration for goods and services. That's commerce. That's the transactional economy, and that is actually the majority of human usage of money, right? It's about commerce. It's not just about trading liquidity. So in my mind, PayFi is about new financial primitives that are based around settlement, around commerce, around transactions, not just trades. And what stablecoins give us these days is typically to move money across the world is about 3 days. And now you can do that relatively instantly with stablecoins. So what you have is you essentially have a new time value of money of at the very least 3 days that becomes a new, not just efficiency, but potentially also profit pool. Now, let me talk a little bit about why I think this has not been possible in 16 years in blockchain up until now. You need to have 3 conditions. You've got to have performance, capital liquidity, talent liquidity. Solana delivers on performance, Solana delivers on capital liquidity, and also on talent liquidity. And said another way, you've got to have rails that are fast and cheap, where you have depth of liquidity and money that people actually use, which is stablecoins. And you've also got to have developers, community of developers, and all these things take a long time to build. And also critically, up until now, we've always thought these 3 things are a trilemma, and which one are we going to trade off on? But I don't think that is possible, and now we don't have to make that choice anymore. Now, let me make another point, which is around, okay, composable finance, programmable money, the idea that you would always have, assets and you'd be able to pay with them, save with them, and invest with them, which in actuality are three very different experiences for most consumers around the world. You have one app for payments, one for savings, and then one if you have enough money, then you can have a brokerage account, you can invest, regulated entirely differently. What you have when you have composable rails is the ability to have all three of these experiences embedded in the same environment. So what are three examples for what this might look like? In a retail situation, you have something which is called not just buy now, pay later, but buy now, pay never. So when you pay for consumption, potentially take some of your savings, deposit that into a lend borrow type of environment, and the yield from that potentially pay for the initial consumption. That could be a cup of coffee, buying a phone, buying a much larger item. These are the types of experiences for consumers you cannot have in the existing world. You have to have instant programmable rails, instant settlement, sophisticated financial products at the click of a button, and also the ability to do these as relatively microtransactions. Also importantly, the new primitive here is the ability to architect yield, have multiple types of yield go into that one yield container, and either spend from that yield or even trade the yield container itself as an asset itself. A second example is in this new digital economy, there's new types of producers. For example, content creators, usually single sole proprietor businesses and have no access to credit markets. Why can't we tokenize their assets, which are digital content, collateralize them, and create a financing market for small businesses, essentially? This is the type of market that has absolutely demand in it today, but there's no traditional lenders that can actually participate in this market at that size and at that scale. Third, everyone is very familiar with this market, APAR financing. What you have here as well is very proven use case, boring in a certain way, but you have no access to this market unless you are generally based in the US or EU, have a great relationship with your banker, and 3 years of audited financial statements, and just a lot of folks in the world do not fit those criteria. It doesn't mean they are not worth good credit risk. Time value of money applies to so many different products out there. These are all transactional in nature, and they're all based around the time value of money. And if money can move faster, and if money is programmable, there are new opportunities in here. So PayFi is around tokenizing the time value of money. It's about introducing new profit pools into payments. It's not just about bringing down the cost of payment transaction processing. And what it also does for blockchain is it starts to move us as an industry from being largely speculative in nature to actually having a transactional on-chain economy. Here's some other ways that you potentially sort of disaggregate what we call payment processing KYC today, introduce DeFi liquidity pools to create more transparency, reduce credit risk, and at the same time preserve the importance of KYC on and off ramps, so on and so forth, and potentially even credit origination in the future. So here are some ideas as to how crypto can move beyond just being a speculatively driven economy and actually really start to add value to really what is the majority of how we use money today, which is really about consumption, goods and services, and transactions. So that's what we're building. One of the many things we're building here at Solana, and I do believe it is only possible on Solana today. Thank you.